Hello, welcome. It's Weather Studio Live time. We're coming to you, as always, from our headquarters here in Exeter. It's 12:15, it's Friday. So yes, thank you for joining us. Thank you if this is your first. Thank you if you've watched many of these before. We do love, as always, getting your comments, your questions coming through. So do put them into the chat and we'll be answering as many of them as we can get through. I'm Alex Burkill, presenter, meteorologist here at the Met Office. And, well, I'd say this week I'm joined by, really, it's a case of I'm joining you because recently the Weather Studio Lives, they've been the honour show. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're not going to see my face for a few more weeks after this. But,
I'm sure people
so
will be
if you're sick of seeing me, we've got a return probably of Alex and Aidan next week, I think it will be.
I think it is Alex and Aidan next week, but yeah, this time you're sat on the other side of the bench.
I don't like it this side, I've got it. Well, I do and I don't. I'm excited for the quiz, but also you've told me what it's about, so I have a feeling I'm going to get 0.
It's nice to have you on that side. You'll be answering some of the questions that come through.
Yeah.
But you've had a bit of an exciting week, haven't you?
I have. My sister had a baby.
Oh,
and it's
congratulations.
It's the first niece or nephew of the family. So little baby Freddie was born on Monday. Same birthday as Aidan. So now I will always remember Aidan's birthday,
yes,
as well as my nephew's.
Is Freddie doing well? Is Mum doing well as well?
All good, yeah. Mum and baby doing well. So yeah, and they're at home now as well. So everyone's settling in to their new lives. Yeah, it's very exciting.
That is exciting. And you got a chance to meet them, didn't you?
I did, yes. First time I think I've held a newborn baby. So it was he was super tiny and soft, and he smelt really good. Yeah. I just couldn't stop staring at him.
That's lovely. That's lovely. But yes, great. It's been a chillier week this week. I know you talked about this in the Weather Studio Live. We've talked about it all week. Yeah. In fact, we talked about it last week that it was going to get chillier. We knew it was coming, but it has been chilly. It's not been great news in my house. Our boiler broke last night.
Yeah,
so a bit of a chilly
a good day
start.
for it to break.
Cold shower is a refreshing way to start the day.
Wake you up and I'm sure you're feeling more awake than you would have done with a warm shower. I had a nice warm shower this morning, not that I'm rubbing it in.
But we have had quite a few questions coming up. So one of them actually is to do with the seasons. So we're in this kind of limbo period at the moment. Is it spring? Is it not spring? Doesn't really feel like spring at the moment with the chill in the air. But meteorologically, spring has started on the 1st of March. But astronomically, if you go by that calendar, it hasn't started yet. It starts on the equinox. But why do we, here at the Met Office and in the meteorological world, why do we split the seasons into 3 monthly chunks?
Yes. I've seen a few, because I've mentioned that it's meteorological spring in some of my videos and people are adamant that it's not spring yet. But yeah, there's a slight difference in astronomical and meteorological spring. So meteorological spring it's mainly for climate records so that we can look at stats and we can compare stats from the past and into the future. So we do it in 3 monthly kind of segments. So I think spring will be so spring's already started and that's all the way through to end of May. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it will move on to summer. Whereas meteorological spring or any kind of season, that's more to do with the kind of tilt of the Earth.
Astronomical.
What did I say?
Meteorological.
Meteorological. Astronomical. See, then we get confused. Astronomical seasons, they're all to do with the kind of tilt of the Earth's surface and whereabouts the sun is in relation to the Earth and stuff like that. So that's not actually until Thursday that we actually reach astronomical spring.
Yes, and actually this Monday is the spring equinox, which comes a few days before the spring equinox. So the equinox is on this Thursday, it's the 20th this year, and the equinox is the point at which, when viewed from Earth, the sun crosses the equator, and it's the start of astronomical spring. But the equinox is the moment when we have the closest to 12 hours of daylight, and from after then we then have longer days than nights, which is welcome news for many of us. Now, we're often taught at school and in other places incorrectly say that moment happens on the equinox, but actually, because the sunlight bends a little bit as it comes towards us, gets refracted a little bit through the atmosphere, and actually the sun appears as a disk in the sky rather than a little dot, and so the upper limb of the sun actually crosses the horizon, comes above the horizon a bit earlier than the centre at sunrise and stays above the horizon a bit longer at sunset. We actually get a few minutes more daylight than you might otherwise expect, and so that's why in spring the equinox happens a few days before the equinox, And in autumn, it's the opposite, and the equinox happens a few days after. But yes, from this month, or after this Monday, our days will be longer than nights, which I think most of us will be happy with.
Yes, see, the evenings already have got like much lighter, haven't they? And it's so nice.
You notice the difference when you're coming home from work. And
Yeah,
it
and
feels
it's
nicer when you have a bit of sunlight, and even just
Yeah.
waking up in the morning, it feels so much nicer when
Yeah.
it's waking up, albeit
Yeah.
at 6 when my son comes in. He's like, no, Dad, it's morning. It's like, look, the sun is up. And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, right. We've had lots of questions in. We've had some questions came in from your deep dive, your great deep dive that you did. You had Julian on as a guest, which was really
yes.
helpful.
If you haven't seen it, make sure you take a look. Julian really knows his stuff about cyclones. So, yeah, it was really good to talk to him. So, yeah, go check that one out.
But
and
I
like it if you're there.
But I think the big question that lots of us are asking is the chill we've got at the moment, is it going to go?
Yes.
When our temperature's going to rise?
That's a good question. Shall I go to the board?
Go to the board
I'll go
and
to
show
the
us
board.
some things.
And try not to trip over my microphone. Yes, that is a very good question, because obviously last weekend it was lovely and warm, didn't we? We just about got to 20 degrees. I think it was a rounded 20 degrees. And then this week it's felt even chillier. Now, temperatures themselves has probably just been just below average, not particularly chilly, but what was the issue this week? It was the wind chill. That was really making things feel a lot chillier. And it was all thanks to this area of high pressure just to the kind of southwest of Iceland there. And what that was doing is bringing in a northerly flow of air, kind of a northeasterly flow of air, particularly along North Sea coasts. And this air, if we kind of follow it back, was coming all the way up from the Arctic. Actually, if I turn this on, that probably looks a bit better. Here we go. So we can see we're still in that kind of cold plume of air today, so things still a little bit on the chilly side. But yeah, there's air coming all the way from the Arctic, crossing over quite cold seas as well. And so that was kind of adding on to the wind chill of the temperatures through the week. But is there anything milder on its way? Well, we've still got this area of high pressure still largely dominating the weather. I guess I'll keep that on for a second. But even as we head towards the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, yes, we're still in that colder plume of air. And you notice as that high drifts slightly further eastwards, if we follow this kind of, as obviously highs go around clockwise. So this is bringing, once again, a bit of an easterly flow to the weather on Saturday. That's actually Saturday morning. We'll go through it into the afternoon. So it probably is still going to feel a little bit chilly on Saturday, but with high pressure across almost over the country, that means lots of dry weather, lots of bright weather. It might just drag in a bit of cloud, particularly into the afternoon. So it's not necessarily going to be high pressure blue skies, and it is still going to be feeling chilly, but it's going to be largely dry after quite a showery week, particularly on North Sea coast where they've seen the bulk of those showers through the week. It's going to be a much drier day for them. But still in that cold plume of air, still just catching a bit of an easterly there, which is still quite a cold kind of wind direction this time of year. And even on Sunday, drag this a bit further on, still under the influence of high pressure, but we start to see a little bit of our shift in the wind direction there. So once again, largely dry, still a bit cloud around, still a little bit chilly. I think highs around 9-10 Celsius by the time we reach Sunday. We'll look a bit more on temperatures in a minute. But yeah, so still a little bit cold. It's not really until, so notice this area of high pressure still gradually drifting its way eastwards. It's not really until kind of Monday, Tuesday, when this area of high pressure drifts a bit more towards Europe, and then we see now a change of our wind direction. So still following these isobars around clockwise. So now rather than a northerly, we're getting more of a south-southeasterly. So something a little bit milder coming in off the near continent. So things are starting to turn a little bit milder. But if we look at temperatures in a bit more detail, so this is what I want. So these are max temperatures through the course of over the weekend and into kind of early next week. We can see they're not changing too much, still highs of around 10 Celsius. So that's not super warm, but it is going to be still staying largely dry. We are still under the influence of high pressure. It's not really until, I think it's more kind of, I move this a bit further on. What day is this? Here we go. So it's kind of later next week. We can see we're starting to now move up to the mid-teens, which is going to feel a lot warmer. I know mid-teens still isn't super warm, but it's going to feel much warmer than it has done of late. Clutching at straws, really, for the slightly milder weather. But Wednesday, 14, 15 degrees, it's not looking too bad. And then earlier in the week, we were kind of thinking that milder weather meant a bit more cloud, a bit more rain, but actually most of next week looks largely dry. It might just be a little bit cloudy at times. It's not really till the weekend, actually, that we might see a bit more rain. So next week's probably going to be feeling a lot nicer compared to this week. So,
Good. Yeah, more spring-like, really.
More
which
spring-like.
is fitting for the, people who think spring starts on
exactly,
Thursday.
Exactly. But actually, I should mention while I'm here, it's going to be the overnight temperatures that are still going to feel like winter. So if we kind of look, if we go from kind of Sunday night, we can still see those overnight temperatures are still quite chilly, mid to low single figures. And if there are any clearer skies, they're likely to drop below freezing, probably going to see quite frosty conditions in some parts. I think it's Sunday into Monday, not turning quite as chilly, but then it's Monday into Tuesday morning, perhaps a bit more of a widespread frost here, depending on how many clear skies we get. But as that high pressure shifts eastwards, it's actually bringing in some drier air, so potentially middle part of next week, we'll see a return of the blue skies as well.
Yeah, it's looking promising, isn't it? Latter part of next week, maybe a bit wetter in the west, but for the time being, some not too bad weather.
Not too bad.
So we've had a couple of questions about the Aurora. There's a chance of seeing it tonight.
Ooh, there is, yes. And I can show you if I press on the right button. Not that one. Hey, this one. This is a really good graphic, actually, because it also shows you cloud cover. So tonight, let's just drag this a bit further on. Oh. Ooh, yeah. Kind of like midnight, it looks quite bright across northern parts of Scotland. There is a little bit of cloud here. We're expecting a few showers still to kind of linger on across northern parts of Scotland, but you'll probably get some breaks at times, I think. So a good chance of seeing it tonight, but I think it was tomorrow night. Or maybe I just made that up.
Yeah, I
thought I saw it. Oh,
hold on.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Sunday night.
Sunday night. That looks promising.
That looks very bright. And then, yeah, probably something fairly similar. Some clearer skies.
Yeah, it's looking cloudier Sunday night, isn't it? That's the shame. Also, worth bearing in mind, at the moment, we've just come off a full moon. Don't know, did you see the lunar eclipse this morning? I didn't. But
I was still in bed.
I think it was a bit too cloudy for many of us. But yeah, we've just come off a full moon, so that will make it a little bit harder to see the northern lights.
Yeah,
but
it kind of brightens
maybe
up the
by
skies.
Monday early hours, if some of that cloud breaks across parts of the north of Scotland, reasonable chance.
Yeah.
Looking at that anyway.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's darker than what it is on what it is for tonight. So yeah, hopefully we see a few more clearer skies, and then you can send us any good pictures if you are in the north of Scotland.
Okay, a couple of other things. So a little tease for what I'm going to be asking you questions about in the quiz,
yeah.
but there's a lot of sporting events now starting to happen, and one that I'm interested in is the first race in the Formula One season, and it's happening in
Melbourne.
Yeah,
Was it Melbourne?
Yeah.
Found that out this morning.
So it's happening this weekend. What's the weather looking like?
Oh, let's take a look, shall we? Let's do the quickest flight ever over to Australia.
It'd be nice if
I
it
want to
took
press this first.
This long to get there.
Eh? If only.
Maybe not this long.
If only it took this long to get there, that'd be great. Right, here we go, down in Oz. Right, Melbourne. Oh, luckily it's marked on there for me, so I can...
You knew where it was anyway.
I knew it was in the south. So there we go, there's Melbourne. So we're dealing with some time differences here, aren't we? So
we are, yeah. So the clock at the top is
it?
UK time, which is quite misleading.
Yeah.
Qualifying on Saturday, I think, is at 5 a.m. UK time. So I think that's about
5 a.m.
4 p.m. Australia or Melbourne time. So yeah, 5 a.m. UK time.
Oh.
Way up.
Huh?
Well, yeah, no.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Saturday, 5 a.m. So potentially a little bit showery to start off with, getting a little bit wet, particularly to the south. Obviously, this is global data, so it's not going to be as quite high resolution. But yeah, to start off with, this probably looks like showers. But then I think it was later on, wasn't it? Yeah. So what's the next thing?
The next
qualifier
thing.
And then a what?
Then a race.
then the zoomy zooms.
Zoomy zooms. I think you're going to do really well in the quiz. 4 a.m. on Sunday morning UK time.
Oh, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So yeah, running through that. So from the qualifier, showery, and then it looks like a front or something's moving through, because then we've got some quite longer spells of rain. It looks like we could potentially get some heavier outbreaks as well through just before. And then, oh sorry, what time did you say it was?
4 a.m. Yeah, so it looks like that rain's going
4
to be
on Sunday.
quite heavy before the race, and then starting to clear as we go through the race itself. So
Yes.
it doesn't look especially heavy during the race, so hopefully it won't delay things.
Yes.
I'd be annoyed if I've woken up at 4 and then get told that.
Oh,
the
do you
race
wake
is...
up and watch it?
Sometimes.
Do you?
I probably will this week because
Yeah.
it's the first one. You know, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Hamilton's wearing red. It's
Oh, that's something exciting, is it? He's wearing red. But what we noticed as well.
Thanks for putting the jet stream on there as well. Really useful.
So wait, that's not the jet. That's the other one, isn't it? This isn't the jet.
Yeah, that's
stream.
just the winds.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so what we notice as well is that they do actually see a slight change in wind direction. So they kind of go from a bit more of a westerly, and then by the time we reach kind of, well, England time, Sunday morning, it's a bit more of a southerly. And for Australia, obviously that, for us, that means something slightly milder, but actually for Melbourne, that's something a little bit cooler. Getting the air from a slightly cooler source coming from the south. So it's quite a change. Oh, actually no, because it's going to be the time difference again. So, because it looks quite warm on Saturday, or quite hot, getting kind of
Yeah, I mean,
30
it's
degrees.
early autumn, isn't it?
Yeah.
Late summer for them.
And
so.
then Sunday doesn't look quite as warm. It's kind of mid to high teens. So there's quite a change in temperatures as well. Sorry, hopefully you could see that and I wasn't stood in front of it the whole time. So yeah, so it's going to be hot, turning wet, and then a little bit cooler.
Good, thanks very much.
For the zoomy
You know
zooms.
your stuff for the zoomy zooms, so looking forward to that. Other questions that we had, so it's also the Sail Grand Prix in Los Angeles this weekend.
Okay.
How windy is it looking there?
Oh,
Because
okay.
the wind obviously plays an important part when it comes to sailing.
Ooh.
Probably be quicker to go the other way.
So is LA's in the
It's in the west.
west? Oh my God, where am I now?
Yeah, that's about there. Yeah.
If I zoom. There we go. So what day for LA?
Just says this weekend. I'm not entirely sure.
This
so let's go
weekend?
this weekend.
What are the winds like?
Yes.
Let us see. So for Saturday. So, obviously with time difference once again. But Saturday, early hours UK time, northeast, it doesn't look particularly strong. No, they don't look particularly strong. Maybe a little bit breezy around coastal areas, but no. And then it kind of looks like it remains a bit more of a northwesterly as well. But no, I can't see anything super significant in terms of winds. Put the rain on, see if we're getting any rain. Or maybe the odd shower. Just realised I'll move it this way. And perhaps the odd shower on Saturday. And then Sunday. Odd isolated shower possible, but yeah. No, it looks largely dry, light winds, probably quite good conditions. Lucky them. Lucky them over in LA.
Them indeed. Yeah, that does.
Yeah.
It does actually look quite decent.
Yeah, bit better than Melbourne anyway.
Oh, back to the UK now, which
Back
I think
to-
is
Thank
something
goodness.
you're a bit more
Thank
familiar with.
goodness.
Just Gamer 2012 has asked if there'll be any more sleet, snow, hail showers tonight in Dunstable, which is central Bedfordshire.
Ooh, okay. Right, so good question. Tonight. So, to be honest, as we're seeing that kind of high pressure build more and more over the weekend, most of the showers are actually easing away, particularly in terms of any wintry showers, as those showers kind of die off anyway. But yeah, as we head, just going to move that over a little bit. As we head kind of into the overnight period, you can see it's always those North Sea coasts that are the main firing line for any showers. But obviously some have drifted inland, some just with the kind of slightly warmer weather where we've got the sunshine, some are kind of bubbled up further inland as well. And obviously brought a little bit of snow. Was the Cheltenham races earlier in the week? They saw quite a bit of snow, didn't they?
Yeah, they did actually. Was it Wednesday morning? They woke up to
yeah, it would have been Wednesday.
Blob of
Yeah.
showery rain, sleet, snow.
Yeah,
which,
it's actually quite a few places did see some snow in the end. But yeah, as we head into the overnight period, that high pressure starting to build, we'll see those showers kind of easing away. But then we can't completely say that it's going to be a dry night overall. It's still those North Sea coasts that are going to drag in some showers. So you might see the odd one, maybe two kind of just drift in to this kind of area, but I think most of them are going to be confined to coasts or just to the north of Scotland. Mostly it is turning largely dry overnight, and then that kind of leads us into a slightly drier day. There's still always a chance, still with that wind direction, that 1 or 2 showers might move through. You can kind of see here some of them popping up through the morning, but no, mostly it's turning largely dry. But into tonight, obviously with that high pressure building, those skies are actually clearing quite nicely overnight. So it's probably going to be quite cold. So what was it, Friday night into Saturday? Yeah. So yeah, definitely going to see probably quite a widespread frost, particularly kind of for Scotland, Northern Ireland, northern parts of England. I think, where did you say it was? Bedfordshire?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably going to be a bit more cloud here overnight. So perhaps some patchy frost if you see any clearer skies, but it's still going to be a cold start even if you don't see any frost. But yeah, mostly dry, but there's a chance, I suppose, what the odd shower, possibly, but it should be mostly dry.
Probably won't be wintry in that area.
And probably won't be wintry, no. I think it was mainly confined to hills this week anyway, so yeah.
Cool. Gordy B, a regular watcher, thanks for joining us again, Gordon. Has the pollen forecast started yet?
Not yet. But when does it start? It's soon, isn't it?
I think it's the end of next week.
End of next week,
it's either the 20th or 21st, I think, that we start going live with those. So yeah, pretty soon. And I
have filmed a video all about pollen, all things pollen. We filmed that last week and that will be coming out soon. I don't think it's this weekend, possibly next weekend or so. But yeah, everything you want to know about pollen will be in that video. So yeah, make sure to check that one out when it comes. Even I learned quite a lot about pollen, which I didn't know. And we had a great day for it. Some sunny skies in Greg's garden, and Greg's dog even features in it, so it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. I've seen a little teaser for it. Hopefully we'll share a clip of that, maybe at another weather studio, maybe next week. When
I'm not here, just in case you are missing my face, we can play a clip.
Before I bring you back to the desk, is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
I'm not sure, is there? No.
No?
I don't think
you've done everything we wanted.
Yeah, it's quite a nice forecast really, because it is going to be turning a bit milder next week if you're not a fan of the cold. And it looks like any unsettled weather is actually pushed further back. So maybe next weekend we might see a bit more rain, but actually next week during the weekdays actually looks okay. So it's good. It's good
Happy
news.
days. Come on then, it's quiz time.
Okay.
Bit sad that the audio and stuff worked this week, so we didn't have to.
My awkward singing.
To get you awkwardly singing.
Saved everyone from that.
But welcome to this week's quiz. There was meant to be a theme, and it was meant to be F1 related, but realised that probably isn't your strong point, so I've tweaked it a little bit. It's going to be topical for things that have happened or happening this week, and so let's see how you do. Let's start with question 1.
Okay.
Because that's usually where we start. On Monday, it was Aidan's birthday, and it was also Freddie's birthday.
Yes.
So a big deal on Monday, and that was the 10th of March. But going back, what's the highest temperature ever recorded on a 10th of March?
Ooh, okay.
When I say ever, in the
Probably
UK.
wasn't this week.
And ever recorded. So just a little clue. The temperature was recorded in a few places in Wales in 1929, so a little while ago.
Ooh.
And this is obviously recorded that we have on record, so it may have been higher than this before we started taking records. But our records go back quite a while. Multiple choice, of course, A 20, B 22, and C 24. All of those in degrees Celsius, not like Fahrenheit.
Okay, so 20 something.
Yeah, so either 20, 22 or 24. What's the highest temperature?
In Wales? Oh,
well,
no.
Just anywhere in the UK on the 10th of March. It's quite tricky.
Yeah, you kind of need to know that.
Like, yeah, why would you know the 10th of March off the top of your head?
I bet Aidan probably knows.
Of course, Aidan knows.
But Aidan knows everything.
And
weather related.
next time you see your nephew, you can tell him as well.
I'll tell him. Yeah, I've already told him to watch this Weather Studio live.
Do you think he's watching?
He might be.
Oh, hello, Freddie.
Okay, so 20, 22, or 24.
Yeah.
Still, I think I'm going to go in the middle.
Safe bet.
Safe bet. What was that? B. Oh, you'll know what I mean.
Yes, the middle was B.
That makes sense.
We're doing very well today with our organisation. Cool. 2, we've already discussed it, and the Formula One season kicks off this weekend in Australia. Now, as you probably aren't aware, but they use different tyres depending on the weather. You've already shown us that it's probably going to be raining for the race, and so that means they could be using the wet tyre. They have lots of different tyres. There's also an intermediate tyre and a wet, but there's a wet tyre, and then there are different types of dry tyre. But what colour stripe do you think appears on the outside of the wet tyre? The options are A, white, B, green, or C, blue. You can do this.
So blue means rain to me. Wet.
Yeah.
But is red like danger? There's a wet surface.
Did I say red as an option?
Did you not say red?
I don't think I gave red as an option. Red is one of the colours, but not in the multiple choice. So A, white, B, green, or C, blue.
Okay, this is going well. Okay, white.
So it's not red.
Okay, white is bright. I'm trying to think logically, but I have no idea. I'm just going to go for blue because that signals rain to me.
Right, let's see if people have been answering in the
Paul
polls.
Skilling says it's easy. Oh, quite a few people are saying blue.
Quite a few people are saying, most people are saying, I think if you'd asked the audience, you'd have got a clear winner with blue. I won't give you the answer yet, but your logic is very, very sound.
Oh, okay.
So that's good. See, I told you I'd be nice. Now, sticking with F1, but don't worry, the rest of the questions aren't. Question 3, which of last year's Formula One races was the coldest? Now, when we started today, you kind of implied you didn't know that it went around the world. You thought it was a UK thing, which would make this slightly harder. But the options are A, British, B, Canadian, and C, Las Vegas.
The coldest?
The coldest last year. So not the coldest of all time.
And is it always this time of year? March? Is the race always in March?
No. Okay. I wasn't prepared. Okay, so the F1 calendar has about over 20 races. I think there's about 24, 25 this year. It's ridiculous. And they go every weekend or every other weekend, they go to a different place around the world.
Oh, it goes all year, does it?
Yeah, so the final race is like end of November, December time.
Oh,
so
I
the races are at different times of year,
right?
Depending on where you are.
Right.
Australia is usually in March. It's usually one of the opening races. If not the first, it's usually the second. But no, the British Grand Prix at a different time of year, as is the Canadian and the Las Vegas one.
Right. So what's been the coldest ever, or in March?
No. What was the coldest race last year?
Last year, right.
Not the coldest on record. That was the Canadian one back in the 70s.
Okay, so Canada.
British, Canadian, or Las Vegas?
The coldest.
Last year.
Okay. I'm going to go with... when do they do the Canada one?
That's cheating.
This is unfair. Right, I'm just going to go with Canada.
Okay. Let's see what other people have said.
Canada spring is cold, Tom Marshall. Oh, yeah, quite a few people have gone with Canada.
Yeah. People have gone with Canada. Yeah, cool.
Got there in the end.
Question 4. We'll move away from Formula One. So it was the Cheltenham Festival this week.
Oh, yes.
With the horse racing. In 2008, the second day of the Cheltenham Festival was cancelled due to the weather. But what kind of weather was it? Was it A, frozen ground, B, extreme heat, or C, high winds?
Ooh. And is that always at the same time of year?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's my guess. I don't know as much about horse racing.
So frozen ground, or... so I doubt it was a heat wave then. Yeah, no. Frozen ground. Oh, what was the other option?
High winds.
High winds.
So A, frozen ground, B, extreme heat, and C, high winds.
Ooh, so potentially, maybe it was a little bit.
Lots of people pointing out, yeah, no way. March had extreme heat.
Yeah, maybe I'll go for frozen ground. I'm trying to look at your reaction and see. Okay, I'm going to go for frozen ground.
Okay.
Boom.
Then question 5. As you know, I love a riddle.
Oh, yes.
And so hopefully you'll get this one. What is seen in the middle of both March and April, but not at the beginning or end of either month? So I'll say that again to get it right. What is seen at the middle What is seen in the middle of both March and April, but not at the beginning or end of either month?
The beginning, but not at the end.
Yeah. Remember, it's a riddle. So it's not like a daffodil. 'Cause
Okay.
That's going to expect too much knowledge of a...
What is seen in the beginning?
No, the middle. What is seen in the middle of March and April, but not at the beginning or end of either month?
Is it weather related?
No.
It's not weather related.
No.
What
I can
is
hear
seen
Greg
in the
laughing next
middle?
door, so he probably knows the answer and is struggling. I think it's easier, to be honest, if you have the answer written down.
Written down. We are so on it today.
I think I've lost it.
So the beginning of March, I've got it. I've got it.
See, I gave you a clue there because I think you needed it. But you may have got it anyway.
Okay.
Cool, well done. Right, I've got all your answers,
I
and
feel
you
like I've learned
haven't
so
got
much.
0, so well done.
I haven't got 0.
No,
Yay.
no. So good news, good news. Right, let's
Okay.
start from the beginning. Lots of people got the correct answer for that one, but we'll come back to that in a second. So
Okay.
question 1, it was Aidan's birthday on Monday, but how warm did it get on the warmest 10th of March on record? The answer was A, 20 degrees.
Damn.
So that was
Too
a trick.
optimistic
Who's
with the
going to know
22?
that apart from, like you say, Aidan and maybe Freddie now? But
Yeah, I'll tell him.
I found it interesting because actually both the days before and after it were all like low 20s, like 22s, 23s and stuff. And so it kind of stood out as being a 20. And also kind of interesting that it was 20 on the dot, no 20 point.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's why I liked it. So that's why I
Interesting.
threw it in.
Got that one wrong.
Then question 2. What colour stripe do they use on the wet tyres in Formula 1? And your logic was sound. Yes, they do use blue. So I didn't want to trick you out.
So it wasn't the white bright stripe.
No white, bright stripe. And I get you, red means danger, but yeah, no, they use white, red and yellow for the dry tyres, depending on how soft or hard they are.
Okay.
Then in last year's F1 calendar, which race was the coldest? A, British, B, Canadian, C, Las Vegas. You said, what did you say?
Canada.
Canada. Good guess. And the Canadian Grand Prix is the coldest on record, I believe. But actually last year it was Las Vegas. A bit of a trick question because, yeah, the British and Canadian Grand Prix are both done in the summer, whereas the Las Vegas Grand Prix is done, I think it was November. And it was also a nighttime race. So double cold. Las Vegas, although extremely hot during the summer, gets really cold during the autumn, winter. And so, yeah, very chilly indeed.
Damn.
So I think if I ask the same question this time next year, just remember,
I
because
will
Las
remember.
Vegas will probably be the coldest one this season as well.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So
I'll
maybe I
remember that.
will, and we'll see if you've remembered.
Yeah. We're still around.
Question 4, in 2008, how are you doing? Oh, so
I've got
you're
one.
1 for 3. Not too bad, not too bad.
It's not 0.
It's not 0. Well, let's see how other people are doing. Some people are 2 for 3, 2 for 3, 2 for 3. I can't see any 3 for 3s.
Anyone got 3?
3 for 3, let's see. Anyway, let's go on. In 2008, the second day of the Cheltenham Festival was cancelled due to the weather. What did you say? What kind of weather?
I said frozen ground.
Oh, good guess, because obviously they had snow this year.
That's why I thought
and
you
so
asked
yeah,
it.
it could be cold, but no, it was high winds. Yeah, it was strong.
Too many trick
winds.
questions in this.
It was
quiz.
only the same. That was the only trick. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, 2. Okay, yeah, fine. So yeah, it was high winds led to the cancellation of the second day of the Cheltenham Festival.
Oh,
in 2008.
63% of people said frozen ground. So I'm not the only one who fell for your tricks.
Oh, pardon the pun.
Oh, yeah.
Horse racing.
Yeah.
We'll go with it.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, the riddle. What is seen in the middle of both March and April, but not at the beginning or end of either? And you got there.
Yeah.
It's the letter R.
The letter, that was
Well
a good
done.
one. I typed it in and then I was like, aha.
Yeah, see, I
could see
think
it.
when it's written, because obviously
Yeah.
I read it and I was like, oh, it's easy. But I think when it's written, you see it much clearer. And yeah.
It took me longer because I thought it was going to be like weather themed. So I was like, what weather element?
Okay.
But
Well,
yeah.
so you achieved 2 out of 5, so well done. Lots of people getting 2s and 3s. Paul Watkins got 4 out of 5, so did Neil Barnett, so did PR38.
Did anyone get 5?
Can't see any 5s out of 5.
Anyone get 5?
Let us know if you got 5 out of 5. Let us know which ones tricked you up if you only got 4 out of 5. Well done, Paul Skilling, got 1 better than last week, so
Oh,
we're doing
Mike.
well.
Mikey got 5 out of 5.
Oh, well done, Mikey.
Well done.
Keep that up and you can take my place next time I'm meant to be on that side of the bench.
Yeah.
Sounds fun. Right, so a couple of other things. We have a couple more questions, but I do want to just do a push because we recently put out a new episode of Climate Conversations, and this week we were focusing on, or this month, we were focusing on renewable energy. Here's Claire Nazir with a little bit more of an insight as to what we discussed.
Hello there. This month on Climate Conversations, we're talking renewable energy. It's a huge topic and one worthy of airtime, as every day the consequences of our global dependence on fossil fuels plays out across the world. Unprecedented levels of carbon dioxide from burning oil, gas and coal are disrupting the delicate balance of life on Earth. So in this month's show, we explore the advances across the UK's clean energy sector as it works to decarbonise our energy consumption, essential for a sustainable future. Alex Birkhill sits down with Met Office energy expert Phil Hodge to discuss the UK's current energy mix and advancements in solar and wind generation. They discuss the role of the Met Office in supporting renewable energy output and shaping future strategies by providing crucial weather data as well as long-term climate projections. So tune in to Climate Conversations on our YouTube channel to learn more.
Thanks very much for that, Claire. So we release a new edition of Climate Conversations usually every month, and I usually get an expert in to join me for a chat about whatever theme we're talking about, and we've got some interesting themes coming up through the rest of the year, so do check that out. You can find our Climate Conversations on our YouTube channel. Still a couple of questions that have been coming in through the show that I wanted to ping your way, Honor. So one question, I think we've discussed this before, but how did you get into presenting?
Ooh, yes. So when I was at uni, I did geography because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and I liked that geography you could study a few different topics. So I studied all sorts, glaciers, rivers, a bit more human geography as well. But I really liked the meteorology aspect. So then I did a master's in meteorology at Birmingham, and then I started off as, they're now called Foundation Operational Meteorologists, or FOMs for short. I started off as one of those, and then I did my forecaster training in the college. So forecasted mainly for aviation, then moved over to media, got a bit of presenter training, and that was kind of my route. But I think yours was fairly similar without the FOM side.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
my route was slightly different in as much as I came in and the system was set up slightly, did my training, etc.
Yeah.
I joined the media team, but when I joined it, we were still working in London with ITV, so I was more embedded with the presenters, so I got to know some of the presenters there and got some training from them, which was really useful.
Handy, yeah.
And I've been able to, lucky enough, to visit lots of TV studios around the country and speak to various weather presenters as well. So that's how I got my step. And obviously Alex Aiden, they trained us up to make us
You trained me as well.
I trained you
Taught me
as well.
everything I know.
And you mentioned the FOM
Yes.
position. So we recently had a campaign to recruit more new starting off budding meteorologists. I think that deadline has now gone, but we will be having another one coming up in a month or so as well. So if you missed out on that application process, then do keep an eye out. We'll probably mention it in the Weather Studio Live when it goes live, just to remind people.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's a great starting point in your meteorology career. Lots of people come in and they do it, and even if forecasting isn't something they want to do forever. They stick with the Met Office and they learn lots of things.
Yeah.
Another question that we had from MLR Riders, maybe ML Riders, the same person who asked the last question, but actually they asked, do we have any public open days? Now, actually, we used to do open days before COVID, and then they kind of stopped. They were really popular. They used to always oversubscribe, and so they are something that we're looking into bringing back because I know the appetite is there. So yeah, lots of people would like to come visit the office. It's a fantastic building. It's really impressive looking and really nice to work in as well. So hopefully we will start doing open days again. I know there's the drive there from both the public and also from people who work here as well. Then one more question, I think, before we go. Someone's asked about WhatsApp. We mentioned WhatsApp in last week's live, but how do you do it?
So go on WhatsApp. It's the updates button at the bottom. It's not updates to do with the app, it's updates from anyone you want to follow. So you basically can search at the top Met Office, and you do basically have to type in Met Office to find us, don't you? And then you just follow us, and then we put all sorts on there, some reminders for Weather Studio Live. We put other bits on there, sometimes satellite pictures, voice notes. Sometimes we put voice notes. We put all sorts on there. So make sure to give us a follow on WhatsApp. And we're recently on Spotify as well. You can watch our videos on Spotify, and I think you can follow on there. So if you prefer Spotify to perhaps YouTube, then you can do that one as well. But we're everywhere now. No social media we're not on, pretty much.
No, yeah, we cover every base.
You can't get rid of us. Even if you wanted to. So yeah, if you're interested in WhatsApp, it's quite a good one actually. Put quite a few different things on there, and yeah, and Spotify as well. And also, if you did like this video today, please make sure you give it a like, because it does make sure that we can do a few more in the future. And I'm sure all of you are, but if you haven't, make sure you click subscribe as well. And if your question didn't get answered today, or if you have any future questions, still leave them in the comments section, because we can take a look at them next week and answer them then. So we'll still be able to watch this back even if you didn't manage to join us live.
Yeah, and yes, Wild Violet, we are on Blue Sky. And Tom Dixon, the winter storms, well, they're not necessarily finished during spring into summer. We're less likely to see stormy weather than during the autumn and winter months. But our storm season technically runs September to August. And so, you know, it's definitely not unheard of. We've had some August, even some July storms through recent years. So they've not totally gone, but we're just markedly less likely to see any. And whilst the low pressure to the west of us next week could have come quite close, could have brought some wet and windy weather, doesn't look like it's going to bring much now, and it'll be mainly towards the west northwest towards the latter part of next week. So I'm not really expecting that to be a stormy feature. Can't guarantee it, but I'm not really expecting it to cause many problems. But thank you, Honor. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your hard work going around the globe.
Yes,
at times it was hard work. And well done on the quiz. 2 out of 5 is nothing to be ashamed of.
I thought I did quite well, considering I didn't really know anything about the F1.
There you go.
But now I know about the tyres.
Yeah, you know about the tyres. You're an expert. What are you up to this weekend?
I've got some friends visiting this weekend, actually. So going to show them around Exeter. Yeah, probably go on some walks, enjoy the dry weather. It'd be good. What about you? Fixing your boiler?
Fixing my boiler. Well, hopefully I've got a boiler repairman coming later on this afternoon, so that will be good. And I have another birthday party on Saturday. Another 4-year-old birthday. Every weekend we have a 4-year-old birthday party. Yeah, lots of cakes and balloons. That's how I spend my weekends at the moment. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks as always for the questions and comments that you've been sending in. I hope you enjoyed it and hope you enjoyed the quiz. Like Honor said, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and keep your questions coming in, because we love to see them and we try to answer as many as possible. It'll be Aidan and Alex, likely the other Alex Deacon, will be here next week. I'll be back. No, I won't. I'm not here in a fortnight's time. I'm moving house. Are you not? Okay, so it's Alex and Aidan for the next 2, possibly 3 weeks. But we will see you again soon. Thanks so much.
Bye.